Don't hide your face from me. I'm asking for your help. I call to you. Please hear my prayers, oh God. If you will answer me as I have called to you, please hear me now. Don't hide your face from me. This beautiful setting of a verse from Psalm 27 by Debbie Friedman reminds us that during the month of Elul especially, we cry out to the divine presence. We want to feel God near us and manifested in the day-to-day routines and ordinary interactions of our lives. This is especially true during this month of reflection, where we're prompted to do the hard work of thinking about how to connect more, not only with God, but as our liturgy says, with one another. How do we look at each other and do that work of thinking about how to make the world a better place through our interactions and through our own personal reflection? This is a season of openness, of really prompting ourselves to not hide, but to have the courage to look inward and outward and do that work of reflection and how we can achieve our goals for the coming year. This year, though, it is especially difficult because our faces are physically hidden from one another. And we've had to find new ways to interact, not only to express ourselves, but to share emotions with one another in ways that we're not accustomed to. And so as we plead with God not to hide God's face, we know that this is not a physical interaction between us and God, but a more spiritual and reflective one. So during this month of Elul, may we be challenged to think about, even with our faces physically covered, how we can emotionally and spiritually reflect and connect with one another, because this pandemic has made it so that we hide our faces. But what does that actually mean when we're thinking about that spiritual context of Elul? So may we have the courage to do that hard work, not only that a more ordinary month of Elul might demand of us, but also this unique month of Elul. How do we not hide from one another? How do we not hide from ourselves? And when we do that work, when we push ourselves to really be open in a more spiritual way, then we can truly do the work that this time of year demands of us, to be open and reflective, to look inward and outward, and to not hide. And by opening ourselves, we can bring healing to one another and to our own personal journeys and reflections. If you would answer me as I have called to you, please hear me now. Don't hide your face. Don't hide your face from me.
This is Rabbi Leah Berkowitz. I am the rabbi of Congregation Kol Ami in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania, and I am also one of the co-presidents of the Women's Rabbinic Network. And during the month of Elul, I like to look to poetry for inspiration. And one of the poems that I love to think about when I'm thinking about teshuvah, or repentance, is This Is Just to Say by William Carlos Williams. This is just to say, I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox, and which you were probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me, they were delicious, so sweet, and so cold. And one thing I love about this poem is I think that it's a great jumping off point to talk about what makes a genuine apology, because this is not one. William Carlos Williams, or the speaker that he is in this poem, confesses to eating the plums, but doesn't make any kind of restitution, doesn't really show any kind of remorse, demands to be forgiven, and kind of justifies his behavior. So it's not really a great apology, but it is a great opportunity to think about what would make a great apology. And sometimes when I'm trying to think about what I want to do teshuvah for, I start with writing an imitation of this poem. And there's actually quite a large body of literature that are imitations of this poem. And one of my favorite resources for young people around this time of year, though I think it's great for people of all ages, is This Is Just to Say, which is by Joyce Sidman. And this book is a collection of poems by a class of 6th graders writing apologies in the This Is Just to Say format and giving them to the people that they want to do tshuva with. And they also give the recipients of these poems the opportunity to write back. And I chose one to read to you today because I felt that it is about somebody apologizing for criticizing someone's appearance, which is something that I know that a lot of professionals, a lot of professional women, a lot of women rabbis and clergy, and people who spend a lot of time on Zoom are very self-conscious about. So I thought it would be a good topic for this particular Elul. Fashion Sense to Mrs. Mertz by Carmen. I am so sorry for my rude words. The classroom was so dead. No one had anything more to say about Old Yeller. And we were all crazy to get outside. The silence seemed like 100 crushing elephants. So I raised my hand and made that comment about your dress. And everyone burst out laughing. You smiled, but your smile looked like a frozen pond. People were high-fiving me on the way down to lunch, but I felt like a traitor. You know how the words slip out and you can't believe it? And they echo in your head forever and ever? All through lunch, all through recess, all the next day, I wished I could take those words back. I kept thinking of what you always say to us. Words can help or hurt. The choice is ours. I want to rewind to that moment and say instead, Mrs. Mertz, that dress makes you look like a princess. You are really a queen, not a princess, our queen. I hope that you will overlook the transgressions of your loyal but loudmouth subject and forgive me. P.S. I notice you're not wearing that dress so much anymore. Green is not good on you anyway. I like the new one with blue in it. It makes you look thinner. And here is Mrs. Mertz's gracious response to Carmen's apology. A haiku for Carmen. Just these few warm words, and spring sunlight fills the room. My dress turns to sky. So as we enter this High Holy Day season, this season of Teshuvah, I pray that we are blessed with genuine apologies, both given and received, and that we are able to find the right words to tell people that we've hurt, that we're sorry. Shana Tova.